Hi everyone, I'm Michael.
And I'm Patrick, and you're watching another episode of Star Wars News and Views. Today we'll be talking about Josh Trank's treatment for the second Star Wars spin-off movie he was planning to do.
Before he was fired, if you haven't
fired.
seen our video, he was recently fired from the second Star Wars anthology film.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And from this rumor, he apparently went on 4chan and went on like a bit of a rant, I guess, sort of upset that he had been fired from the movie, and said that his plan was to make a sequel to Shadows of the Empire, a very popular book that came out, and he liked the original. He said that he liked the original trilogies a lot. That was the only Star Wars for him, and that he wanted to sort of follow up on stuff that he thought was good. That was like Shadows of the Empire, and it would have been about Shizor putting a bounty on Dash Rendar's head, and they kind of like would have been about these characters.
A bounty hunter heist movie, kind of where Dash Rendar has to deliver him to the Hutts.
Yeah.
So if you're not that familiar with Shadows of the Empire, this was a really, really big deal when it came out. This is before the prequels. This is before the special edition. This was a multimedia crossover thing centered around a novel, Shadows of the Empire, written by Steve Perry. I actually still have mine. I bought it when it came out, and two of my friends bought it when it came out. I have the paperback version because I was cheap. I bought it a little bit later. But there was a video game for Nintendo 64. There was a soundtrack. They made a musical score for a novel. Like, that's how big it was. It was a big deal. It was kind of like Empire Strikes Back 2.5, or I guess Star Wars 2.5, whatever. Like, it's set in between Empire Strikes Back and Return of the Jedi, and it's about Princess Leia teaming up with this kind of replacement Han Solo character, this kind of smuggler rogue sort of guy named Dash Rendar. Instead of the Millennium Falcon, he has a cool smuggler ship called the Outrider, and there's this guy called Prince Shizor that is sort of connected to the criminal underworld, and they're trying to track Han Solo frozen in carbonite as he's being delivered to Jabba the Hutt, and that was kind of the height of the mid-90s popularity of Boba Fett, so Boba Fett's in it prominently, and it was just a really big deal. To be honest, it's not the best novel in the world. No offense to Steve Perry. That was a period where he was doing a lot of movie tie-ins, like he was writing a bunch of Aliens novels. It's okay. It was a big deal at the time. To be honest, I don't really think any of the media tie-ins are good. The video game for N64 is kind of clunky. The soundtrack is generic, and the book is like, it's a paint-by-numbers movie tie-in. But whatever. It was a big deal at the time. So, if you were alive in the 90s and a Star Wars fan, you would remember Shadows of the Empire. And so that's kind of a big deal that Josh Trank was going to make a sequel to it. And that would also then canonize Shadows of the Empire.
It would have been a bit difficult to do. I don't know if that would have been like, maybe that's one of the reasons why they didn't like his idea, but that would be kind of hard to write in this one book and say, okay, there's one thing from the EU will be canon, but everything else won't be.
Yeah, but that's pretty interesting.
Yeah.
However, the main question here is like, it's 4chan.
Yeah.
How do you know that that's actually Josh Trank? It's not like he confirmed this. Well, it's just a post on 4chan.
And there was a picture of him holding up a sign with the date. But apparently Furious Fanboys debunked that because the picture of him holding up the date was actually a picture from 2012 for something else that he
someone
did.
Had doctored.
Yeah, and they just doctored the photo and added it on and then just did their own rant, I guess. So it seems like that's been debunked, that it wasn't actually him. And
well, they've proven it. They've shown the photos. It's clearly faked. I mean, he wouldn't have to doctor his own photo. He could take a photo of himself.
Yeah.
So, unfortunately, whole thing is bupkis.
Yeah, but even if it wasn't, he was not doing it anyways, so it's not really a loss. But it's just like, it's still kind of a question of, now, what was his idea for the movie? We haven't really figured that out yet.
That's the question.
Yeah.
So that's why it was like, wow, they were gonna canonize Shadows of the Empire and make a sequel to it.
Yeah.
First of all, I don't think it's that good of a story, but like, just it's surprising that they would take this iconic piece of the EU, of the old EU, and make a follow up to it. I was like, wow, that's so interesting. But in a weird way, like, why would they do that? It's so surprising. But
I can't believe someone on 4chan would just go on the internet and lie like that. Seriously, like, who
what's
lies
4chan coming to? Like, come on, their credibility has just been tarnished.
Yeah.
So I guess that's it. I'm curious for you guys. Like, Shadows of the Empire was a big deal at the time. I don't think much of it is really that memorable. But what do you guys think of it? Did you read the novel recently? Were you there when it came out? What do you guys think? Would you have liked to have seen a sequel to Shadows of the Empire? I don't know. Leave us your comments.